Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Paint Content 6734 from the relationships subreddit, and it says, help. I 26 female think my boyfriend 30 male is exaggerating or faking his illness. Saw someone's post yesterday about navigating life with a partner who has fibromyalgia and felt inspired to post here. I'm hoping y'all can give me some solid advice. I 26 female have been with my boyfriend 30 male for a little under 2 years. In the time we've been together, his chronic pain, which isn't connected to any particular / known condition as he refuses to go to the doctor, has gotten worse. Has gotten worse and worse. It's reached a point where he's almost incapable of doing chores or house projects. He's usually too exhausted / in pain to make or agree to plans, and getting him to do anything outside of the house together is like pulling teeth. His objections always revolve around his pain and fatigue. I've never suffered from chronic pain, and thank God, so I'm not one to judge or accuse someone of making it up. Since the pain itself is invisible, my boyfriend looks perfectly healthy. But he's now been unemployed for about 4 months, and I'm starting to question things. I'm starting to feel doubtful for a number of reasons, and the main ones are that A. He never turns down his friends' invitations to hang out, even when the activity is something physically intense, like kayaking or going hiking or going to a music festival. And B. He's never too tired / in too much pain to have sex. Over time, it's almost made it seem like he's conveniently in an unbearable amount of pain when he has to do something he isn't at all interested in, i.e. chores, and I'm starting to feel hurt that he just doesn't seem to want to hang out with me outside of what we do lazing around the house. I've never accused him of faking or exaggerating his pain, but I have tried to talk to him about doing more fun stuff together, and it always circles back to his pain or him accusing me of trying to keep him from spending time with his friends, which I'm not trying to do by any means. I've done a ton of research into autoimmune disorders and other conditions that could be causing his problems, always bringing my findings and suggestions to him. But he just doesn't believe the doctor or any traditional medicine will help him. I'm also bothered because when we go to family outings or parties that we're both invited to, it's rare but it does happen, he will talk to anyone who will listen's ear off about how bad his chronic pain is and how frustrating it is not to be able to find a solution. The thing is, he's not actually looking for a solution. He just smokes weed every day and calls that good enough while lamenting and complaining that his body is the way that it is. He also refuses to return to work because of his pain. For additional context, he seems to have really extreme muscle spasms and tightness, particularly in his back. I'm happy to support him through hard times, but the fact that he won't work is getting concerning, and I feel severely stuck. I'm not interested in supporting him financially on a long-standing basis, but at the moment, I partially am by covering some of his expenses. If this post makes me a total arsehole for questioning the degree of my boyfriend's chronic pain, so be it. I just need help and answers. So here's my questions. Where do I go from here? Do you think it's possible that my boyfriend is using his pain as a crutch? Should I put some kind of ultimatum in place that will get him medical care / attention? Your advice is appreciated. So the top commenter on this one, Watermelon Sugar 47, says, even if he does have a chronic illness, he isn't doing anything to get diagnosis or treatment, and is willing to push on for things that benefit him and only him. He also developed a drug addiction he has no plans of curbing. I'm chronically ill. I'm busting my ass trying to find answers and help because living like this sucks. I do everything in my power to support my partner and care for our home. Or sometimes that's not a ton. I always prioritize contributing to my household over kayaking, which, even if I could push through to do, would put me down for a week. This man is using and taking advantage of you, disabled or not. He has dumped this on you without you consenting to be his financial caretaker. You are not married. There is no in sickness and in health here. Leave him. Another commenter says, this right here. It's one thing if he was busting his butt trying to find a solution, but he's doing nothing. He's unemployed and not searching for a solution to get him back to work. Is he on unemployment? What are his plans for contributing to the household? Considering his inability to function, do you see yourself continuing a life with him? And what would that look like? It's big questions. Do you want kids? Do you want to travel? Is he an excellent homemaker? Going Price for Home says, as someone with chronic pain, even if he wasn't lying, I'd leave him. Chronic pain fucking sucks. I've been there. It's been over 13 years of it, but it kinda just sounds like he slowly made you into his bangmaid. Either he's faking it so he doesn't have to work or do any chores, or he has no interest in improving his situation, which isn't sustainable if the person isn't going to pursue medical help or disability benefits. Magenta says, bangmaid that covers his bills no less. Run OP, run. To which Watermelon replies saying, that's what we call a mummy bangmaid. So, at some point later, OP comes in to update their post and says, thank you to everyone who responded to my post and was so compassionate and kind. It was incredible to hear from so many people who actively battle chronic pain and illness, and those with loved ones who do. I hope to continue deepening my empathy towards anyone who is struggling with an invisible illness. On to my update. Armed with some fresh perspectives, and some fresh frustrations, lol, I talked to my boyfriend and told him that he needs to see a doctor or I will no longer be able to support him financially and stand by while he remains unemployed and unmotivated to get the help he needs. I also addressed the idea of managing and balancing his energy levels differently so that we're able to share the household responsibilities more effectively, spend quality time together and keep him doing the things he loves with his friends. His response was really bad. He told me that if I'm not willing to step up and clean around the house, something I'm already doing, then there's no use living together, and that my efforts to clean are the bare minimum and not good enough for his standards anyway. He was also really mad that I haven't taken the initiative to take care of yard projects and car repairs. He sat there and spouted off a whole list of things I'm not noticing in cleaning. And once again, he was focused on the idea that I don't like his friends / am jealous of them and want him spending less time with them, which isn't true at all. This really stung. He basically brushed over everything I said and focused on my perceived faults. This told me everything I need to know, and told him I was leaving. He was just mad, not sad or hurt at all. I'm still crying excessively over his whole reaction. I still don't know how real or unreal his chronic pain is, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Thank you again, everyone, for your support and kindness. I'm truly at a loss. The commenter said to OP on the back of this one, OP, I remember your first post. I know you're very sad right now and you have a right to be, but don't let grief overstay its welcome. You're so much better off and he just lost his bangmaid. Expect him to come crawling back when he realizes you're serious. Don't believe anything he says. This internet stranger is proud of you. You deserve someone who can be your partner regardless of whether they have an illness. That doesn't mean they're critical or cruel. Fiery Valkyrie says, man, the idea of an unemployed, constantly stoned layabout accusing someone else of not stepping up is just mind-boggling. Good for you for not letting him take advantage anymore. Kelly Ocean says, listen to me. You will wait a week or 2 or 4, but he will try to come back to you. You did everything for him. No one else is going to do that, while taking on all the financial burdens. Yeah, he's toast. He was absolutely faking it. You don't need to think twice about it. Update us on when he comes crawling back, or once his parents are done with him. Good for you. I remember this from the other day and was so upset that you did all this for so long. You're going to be much better off in life, and I'm excited for you. Now, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Wreck-It from the Am I Overreacting subreddit and says, am I overreacting by not wanting to go to my father's wedding because of comments his fiance has made about my autistic younger sister? Hi everybody, this is written on mobile, so I apologize if this looks odd. So I, 22 female, talked to my 49 male father the other day. He told me that he and his fiance, 52 female, have finalized a date for their wedding. In this time, my 21 female sister went no contact with both our dad and his fiance. Let's call her Lisa. Lisa has never had children, so when my sister and I were introduced to her, she became very motherly towards us, even though we are both adults when we met her. My sister is smart, funny, a witty person who does struggle with mental illness due to trauma, as well as she has medium support needs, autistic. Lisa knows about all of this and previously was very supportive of helping her work through these traumas and grow as a person. But in the past year and a half, things have gotten worse, and Lisa started belittling and mocking my sister during her meltdowns, and even has gone as far as telling me that that kid needs to be drugged up, after I reached out to Lisa about how to support my sister during these episodes. Now, because of all of this, my sister and I are no contact with Lisa, as well as my sister is no contact with our father, as he has also belittled and mocked her during meltdowns. I should mention that my sister and I were in foster care from the ages of 11 and 12 up until we both aged out of care. My sister has a really good relationship with our foster parents while I don't, which I'm okay with because I'm glad my sister has someone she can call her mum. This is where I feel stuck. My father is really the only parent I have left, as my mum left when I was a kid. In the end, my sister will still have a mum, and if I completely cut off my father, I'll be alone. I want to stand with my sister if she doesn't want to go, then I won't, but part of me wants to just still hold on to having a father. Regardless if my sister going, I don't really want to support someone who is so ableist and often even racist at times. But going to the wedding and pretending that everything is fine, knowing that my presence is only tolerated. So people were asking OP some questions in the comments. Someone said not overreacting. Where was your dad when you two were in foster care? He doesn't seem to care about you at all. OP says he was part of the reason why we're in foster care, but it was more so reactive abuse rather than straight up abuse. He's done therapy and anger management courses and claims he's better. Next commenter says, you're not overreacting at all, and your sister is lucky to have you in her life. I'm sorry your father can't or won't stand up for her himself. You already no contact with his fiancée, so it sounds like going would subject you having to be in her presence anyway. OP says I feel more lucky to have her because she's hilarious. Going might just feel worse, while also potentially ruining a happy day for my dad. Another commenter says, all you have to do is see your father without the wife. Just go have lunch with him or to see a movie with him, etc. You do not have to be around the wife. You didn't have to interact with the wife much at all if you set that boundary with them. But no, you're not overreacting. Talk to your sister, and yes, medications can help with meltdowns. It took me years to find one that helped, that didn't make me drowsy or have the opposite reaction. Not saying Lisa didn't take it too far, especially since she's a racist, but she's not exactly wrong. Sometimes it does help, or you gotta keep trying different meds until it does. Opie says I agree with medication being a lifesaver. I myself have a panic disorder and treat it with medication. My sister is now on meds for anxiety, and it really helps her. In fact, she went to the corner store by herself, with me on the phone for support for the first time in her life. That was just one of many instances where Lisa made an already difficult situation worse. She has done other things, and that was just one example. I really appreciate your feedback though. I'm so glad you found something that helps you. That can often be a long, stressful journey. Another commenter says, not the arsehole for feeling conflicted about going to the wedding. It's tough when family dynamics are strained, especially when it involves someone who should be supportive, but ends up being hurtful instead. Standing by your sister in this situation shows a lot of integrity and love. If your gut is telling you that attending the wedding might not be the right move due to how they've treated your sister, it's totally valid to listen to that. It's important to protect your mental health and the values you hold dear, even if it means making tough decisions about family relationships. It's okay to prioritize your and your sister's well-being over attending a wedding where you won't feel comfortable or respected. So it was 6 days after that post that OP came in with her update and says, just thought I'd come back here and give everyone an update. I apologize for taking a bit to update. Unfortunately, this isn't a very positive update. On Thursday, I received the invitation to the wedding and had a conversation with my father, and I found out that he hadn't even invited my sister whatsoever, or even told her about it. After finding that out, his half-assed, in my opinion, reasons why he didn't invite her, I decided not to go to the wedding. That ended in a huge fight and a lot of hurtful things were said, and I've decided to completely cut contact with him and Lisa. After talking to him, I called my sister and let her know what happened without getting into too much detail and stressing her out, and she thanked me for always standing up for her. While it has been difficult and there's been a lot of tears, I think I made the right choice, and my partner and roommates agree, and they could see every time I talked to my father, it would end in me having a meltdown. I'm thankful for everyone who left a comment. I make sure to read every single one, and I appreciate everyone taking the time to read my previous post. Hope everyone has a wonderful spring. Commenter said to that one, "You made the right call. Family can be toxic, and it's clear you were looking out for your sister. Cutting ties for your mental health was necessary." Another commenter says, "I just read your original post. You stated if you didn't go to the wedding, you'd lose your father and be alone. OP, you made the right decision. Because sometimes not having any parent in your life is better than having an ableist arsehole parents in your life. And you're not alone. You have your sister, who you rightfully prioritized. Your father abandoned you, leaving you in foster care to age out. Who was the one constant in your life? Your sister. You did the right thing. You backed the one person who has always been there for you and got rid of the extra baggage that is your low-life father. You didn't find this update to be a good one because you wanted to believe your father is a good person. He's not OP, so you are much better off. Even though you can't see it, this is a great resolution because your father showed you his true colors and made sure you knew he was not someone you want or need in your life. Kudos for standing up for your sister, rather than support the union of two grossly ableist people, including the father that very literally abandoned you and your sister for years." And like always when we see situations like this, I can only imagine how difficult it is to have those feelings and recognizing the type of person your father is and cutting them out. But I always like to think about the long term for OP and the sister cutting these people out of their lives. I can only think of it as being like freeing, removing toxic people like that. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from Evil Lawyer 2010. And it says, "Am I the arsehole for causing my neighbor to pay for damages his trampoline caused? Today around 5 PM, I got text messages from our great next door neighbor who said that a trampoline came flying in a storm and damaged our fence/barn behind our house. I accessed our security system via my cell phone and found out the trampoline came from the neighbors across the street, NAS or NAS. We're not friends with NAS, but up to this point have had no problems with them. I inspected the damage and our fence was destroyed, almost knocked flat. The trampoline hit the barn so hard it dented the metal walls and broke 2 panels on the garage door. There were all sorts of other minor scraping along the sides of the barn. As I was surveilling the damage, the husband Nas came walking up the driveway. He did not appear concerned and more annoyed than anything. I held our broken gate open for him to enter the yard and look at the damage with me. After reviewing the damage together, he asked me what I wanted to do about the damages. I was still a little shocked and said, "Well, your trampoline caused the damages. You're responsible." I'm guessing the damage is between $5,000 to $10,000. The fence was decorative aluminium to appear like wrought iron, and the damaged section was 4 to 5 panels and cost us approximately $4,000 3 years ago. The garage door was insulated and was around $3,000 2 years ago. I have no idea how to estimate the cost to repair the dented, scraped, and damaged metal walls of the barn, which again is only 2 years old. Nas said, "Well, it's damage to your property. You should put the damage through your insurance." I was shocked and incredulous at the audacity of this person. I told him, "I'm an attorney. I actually am in my state. Your failure to secure your trampoline caused it to fly into my yard and destroy my fence and damage my barn. I'm not putting a claim on my insurance. I don't want my premiums to increase. I have great insurance and an umbrella due to the ponds on the property. I have a separate rider for the barn just to be safe. Due to my profession, I made sure I have great insurance." I told him I can either get quotes to fix the damages that you can pay, or you can make a claim against your homeowner's insurance. He said, "Well, I'm not paying cash and not making a claim against my insurance. This was an act of God." I said to him, "Okay, I'm sorry you see it that way. My firm sues around 200 cases per week. Not a brag, a fact. Suing one more next week will not be difficult." That is when Nas finally agreed to put his homeowners on notice and exchange his phone number with me. Several colleagues and my mentor said he probably never put the trampoline on his insurance, and an unreported trampoline can lead to cancellation of Nas homeowner's insurance. Am I the arsehole for insisting Nas pay for the damage caused by the trampoline flying onto my property, one way or the other? Humble ad says on the back of this one, "Not the arsehole. Act of God doesn't mean not my problem." Wind didn't launch a properly secured trampoline like a missile. It was negligence. His failure to secure it made it a hazard, and now he's trying to dodge accountability. He doesn't get to offload the cost onto your insurance just because he doesn't want his premiums going up. Lucas of the North Star says not the arsehole, as it only makes sense that they should take responsibility when their property causes damages to your own. However, what gets me is you write you're an attorney, OP. So why are you even posting here about this situation? As I feel like you of all people should know regardless of if you look like the arsehole or not. Your property is your property, and if someone else damages it, then it's hell and high water. Or trampolines. I say this in a joking manner. In my opinion, and hypothetically asking, aren't all attorneys by law you're the arsehole? Joking. Please don't sue me. Though seriously, you did remind me my trampoline isn't fully secure, as I took the bricks off it during the winter for other projects. And one more comment from Exciting Peanut 1526 who says not the arsehole. His poor planning and execution is not your problem. Honestly, if he didn't want to involve insurance, he should have opted to pay out of pocket, because his insurance may drop him, or raise his rates, or refuse to pay. Then he's still left paying out of pocket. But now, what do you guys make of this one? I've seen some videos around of those trampolines flying in all sorts of crazy weather, but what do you guys make of it? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much for being involved. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in despair, crime